From the beginning of time, there has always been some sort of controversy in any topic. These topics range from religion to politics to even abortion rights. Yes, these topics are very important and very much impact society. However, there is a topic that isn't discussed as much. Buying from a breeder versus adopting from a pet. This topic is rarely discussed and it's very crucial to the future of house pets. A puppy mill is a facility where puppies are usually bred and then put up for sale. The good thing about this is that people are getting brand new pups. That's actually the only good thing about puppy mills because owners of these puppy mills typically care more about their profit rather than the well being of the dogs. Dogs are subject to harsh conditions, some of which include overcrowding in cages, inadequate food and water, which consequently results in heart and blood diseases, respiratory disorders, and high levels of anxiety. On the other hand, shelters are a lot cleaner, they're much safer, and animals are taken care of. Here, we went to go talk to Molly Peterson, the executive director of the animal shelter at Rockwell. Here's her insight on this topic.
So, what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Molly Peterson, and I am the executive director at the Rockwell Animal Adoption Center and the president of Legacy Humane Society.
What made you choose this career?
I went to get a cat. I've had animals my whole life, and I went to get a cat in high school, in college, and because we couldn't have animals in our apartment, but I figured I could hide a cat. So I went to the Los Angeles Animal Shelter, and I'd never been to an animal shelter before. And it was just so appalling to me. There were 6 dogs in a run, and they were small, and they were all on top of each other, and it was terrible. And so I stayed for 8 hours, and these people were taking pictures, and I asked them what they did, and they said that they take pictures of pets in need of rescue. And they explained what rescue is, and basically they pull them from shelters and bring them into their home, and they house them until they're adopted. So the shelter workers pulled a dog out of a run, they were dragging it down the hallway. And I stopped them and I was like, I'm going to adopt her. And they said, no, we're putting her down. And I said, nope, I'm going to adopt her. So she was super sick. And okay, come here, sorry. And so I brought her home and she sat on my couch for 4 weeks. And then and then after she got better, I wound up signing up for rescue. And I kind of just started doing that ever since then. And I moved to Texas and bringing in dogs and cats to our home, and we foster them until they're adopted. And then in 2012, we took over the Rockwell Adoption Center, and we've been running this one as well ever since.
According to the ASPCA, when it comes to how dog owners acquire their dogs, 23% of them acquired it through animal shelters through adoption, 34% bought it through breeders, 6% purchased through strays, and the rest of the percentage is from other sources. American Humane Society also states that in 1997, 64% of all total animals in shelters were euthanized. That's 2.7 million in approximately 1,000 shelters. Of those numbers, 56% are dogs and 71% of them are cats, as in 56% of all dogs and 71% of all cats euthanized after not being adopted. How they get euthanized is either overcrowding, aggressiveness, age, and discomfort.
What do you do for or at the shelter?
I'm the director here, so I kind of oversee everybody below to make sure things are being done, and intakes, outflows, annual reports, a lot of meetings, a lot of networking and getting support in here and making sure it runs as smooth as it can.
What is your opinion on buying from breeders?
I don't support it because there's just so many pets in need of homes, and not to mention most of the dogs from breeders are overbred at this point, so they have a lot of genetic issues. Not that a mutt or a mixed breed can't, but a lot of the purebreds do. And so they have a lot of health issues. So with us already being so overpopulated and so many unwanted puppies and dogs and even purebreds, it can be really frustrating to see people go spend $3,000 to go to a breeder to get a purebred dog when you can adopt one from here for $125, and it's going to be spayed and neutered and microchipped and vetted and heartworm tested and all that stuff. So it's hard.
About how many animals do you have here on average?
And any given day, probably about 60 to 70 average, cats and dogs.
Okay. And then what is the process to adopt an animal?
And the process from the shelter is, if it's a puppy, they have to do an online application because we typically get so many people wanting puppies. We want to make sure it's a good home, because a home for a puppy, they have to be home pretty often, and they just have a little bit more requirements. Puppies are a lot to handle. But otherwise, they can just come in, they meet with all the pets, they do a brief application. We try to find a good match for them based on their family, their needs, their work schedule. And then they have a 5-day trial period that they adopt to make sure it's a good match for their family. Usually in 5 days, people know if it's going to work or not. And then it's $125 to adopt, and it includes their spay or neuter, microchip, their vaccinations, heartworm tests, all that stuff. And then if they've been here over 3 months, we do a diamond dog program. So they're basically like a diamond in the rough. And they're $75, and they're $75, and it's just discounted based on their time here. And then cats are $75 for kittens, and kittens are $75 and cats are $50.
After the meeting with Molly Peterson, we met up with couple Vanessa and Josh, who have recently adopted Basil. Not only were they helping Basil, but he was also helping them too. Here is their story.
How did y'all get Basil?
We went to the Planet Dog Shelter and we adopted him from there.
What made you guys adopt?
Considering that we didn't want to have children, we still wanted another member of the family, so we decided to purchase another dog. And we figured it was safer and probably better for us in the long run to adopt instead of shopping.
We were gonna purchase a dog like at PetSmart or something, but then I read online about the horrors of puppy mills and all of that. So my husband Josh and I decided to go to an animal shelter and get one of the dogs. It's much cheaper, and they already come spayed and neutered and all of that, and they have all of their vaccines.
How has he changed your life?
Well, Josh and I were having marriage issues, so we decided to adopt Basil, and he's made such a good friend. He's really let us have the opportunity
To bond, to get
bond.
together. It's always nice having someone to be excited at the door whenever you come home from a long day at work.
definitely. Yeah, and it's not as much work as having a kid and all of that.
Are y'all planning on adopting more dogs?
Of course,
Absolutely.
like 30 more.
Maybe 2, but more to be deals.
Okay, so I'm Vanessa and this is Josh. We've been married for the past 2 years, and this is our dog, Basil.
Basil.
Basil!
How did y'all meet?
Josh, do you want to tell the story how we met?
How did Basil change your life?
Well, me and Josh were having some problems, right, Josh?
Josh and I.
Josh and I.
Sorry, honey.
Such as like those things like correcting my grammar and all of that. It's just too much for me. He was getting on my nerves after 2 years, I know. So we adopted
Basil. And then y'all would be like, and then what made you guys adopt?
Action.
How did y'all meet?
Well, we were both in med school at Harvard. It's a law school, right?
Do you want me to help you?
No, stop! Wait, are you filming me? Fuck you!
This is from Blooper.
Just go to the bathroom.
Pick one and go.
No, just.
Do you want me to see?
This is like longer than Snapchat. Are you filming this thing like for real?
We just going up bloopers, man.
There's like June bugs and in the urinal right now. I feel so pregnant.
Are you actually going to the bathroom?
Yes, I'm going to the bathroom. Not doing it.
Okay, guys, let's.
There's literally a juice box floating in my piss right now.
It's probably dead now. Shit.
Probably way more dead than dead. Woo. The water doesn't work. Apparently, it didn't flush though. Are you done?
Nope. Okay, now I'm done.